In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser and Joe's going to explain why he's laughing at me.
Why? What was that?
What?
Okay.
Today, we're drinking rhubarb gin and tonic. Cheers. And right now, there is a giant stick of rhubarb sticking out of my drink, which you chopped from our garden.
Legitimate dingle rhubarb.
Mm-hmm.
Chopped via an axe.
Yes, he did chop it with an axe, which I think was a bit excessive, to be honest. But also is legitimate dingle lemon balm.
Oh, nice.
In there as well. So
it's very delightful. I like it.
It's really nice, isn't it? And that was dingle gin liqueur given to us by my brother and his wife for Christmas.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's really delicious. And we can make our own rhubarb gin this year.
Because we have rhubarb.
We do. So yeah, it's been a bit of a dingly day today because it's Bank Holiday Monday that we're recording this.
Mm.
And it started off with finding a severed foot in the raised vegetable beds.
That was quite sinister.
Yeah.
I think it was like a message from somebody.
It was really...
Just a foot.
Fairly horrific, wasn't it? It's just like we were both like, you pick it up. No, you pick it up. I don't want to. So in the end, I picked it up and waved it in your face.
Nice.
I should point out that it wasn't a human foot.
What kind of foot was it?
It was a pigeon foot.
Was it? Pigeon.
Yes, pigeon foot. And there was a fox poo. Wasn't there under the tree, so I think those two things were related. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Well, we clearly are. But we're here today to talk about how I haven't got time is a big crock of shit.
Okay.
Again.
That phrase, I haven't got time.
Yes. It's nonsense.
The belief that you don't have time.
Yeah, the belief that you don't have time. So this is all about 10 ways you can, I guess, claw back time. Well, you can't claw back time because there's, time is finite. And
I was once offered several £1,000s to invent time travel. I was quite impressed.
So why haven't you done it yet?
Well, he's like, no.
You're going to have to tell that full story at some point. But not now.
Halfway through a project.
Oh,
well, no, we're actually about to start a project. And I was telling the customer that his delivery date was going backwards because he hadn't issued me with a PO yet. And hence I hadn't spent thousands of pounds buying things.
Purchase order.
Sorry, purchase order. So the customer was like, oh, can you not do something with that? Can we not just, make it faster? And I was like, well, it involves buying things and having them shipped. And he was like, well, just do that faster? And I was like, no. He's like, well, I'll give you more money, just do it faster. And it's like, well,
it doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work. It actually requires other people to make things for us. You can't just go faster, or indeed start a fortnight ago. And he was like, could we not have started a fortnight ago? I was like,
if you'd given me money a fortnight ago, yes.
Yes, a while back we could have started a fortnight ago. Now we can't. He was like, are you sure? It's like, yes. What if I pay you more? No.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So he didn't really offer you more money to invent time travel.
Well, that's how I saw it. Yeah. He offered me money to have started a fortnight ago.
That's amusing. Okay, so anyway, today we're talking about how you can, I don't want to say make more time because you can't make more time. Maybe find more time. Maybe use your time better. Use the time that you have more effectively.
Time efficiency
is what we're really talking about. Because we're not going to be talking about kind of, the latest shiny object that's going to help you do it because, frankly, all of the shiny colour-coded diaries in the world and iPhone apps in the world are not going to help you manage your time more effectively if you don't kind of get your head around it and stop doing the stuff that's wasting your time. Because as we kind of go through this podcast, you'll realise just how much time you're wasting of your own and how much time other people waste is just astonishing to me. So yeah, we'll talk. I'm giving Joe a significant look there.
Charming.
So we'll talk about that, because in the end, it's kind of getting your head around it and getting into the right mindset and actually doing the stuff that will kind of create more usable time for you. So let's start with 10 simple techniques, really. Well,
Start with 10 simple techniques.
We'll start with number 1. Basically, this is kind of the stuff that I've learned over the years, plus a bunch of stuff from Dan Kennedy's amazing book about time management, which everyone should read. Because he reckons, and I think he's probably right, that you can boil every time management course, event, seminar, book into kind of 10 techniques, 10 techniques that he uses. I already use some of these techniques and have done for a while, and some of them I've kind of looked at what he's doing and I was like, that seems like a really good idea. You probably won't be able to use all of these things. You probably won't want to use all of these things, but you should be using some of them.
Okay.
Basically. Okay, so let's start with my favourite thing of all time, which is lists.
Right. Joe
mocks me for lists, don't you? You mock me for my lists.
I don't so much mock you for lists. I have I think you start many things.
I do. I have.
And I think a bit more finishing would be good.
You are totally right. I am a starter, and I find it difficult to finish stuff, which is quite a common trait among business owners, I think, and entrepreneurs. And I'm well aware of that fault, and I do work really hard to finish stuff. But the thing is, if you start something and then you realise that it's not going to be profitable or useful or enjoyable, then it's fine to abandon it, because otherwise it's like the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, sure. If this is not the thing you should be spending your time doing, then stop doing it for sure.
Yeah. But I think what Joe means is that I'll start 3 jobs in the garden and then finish none of them, and it drives him up the wall. Yes. So
I'm going to have a pile of stuff here, a whole bunch of trimmings over there, and the wheelbarrow will be like upside down with the wheel spinning, and you will have just wandered off. To find an axe to chop something down or whatever. It's just like, what?
Anyway, I love lists. They work really well as long as you finish them. So what I used to have many years ago was the never-ending to-do list, which just got stuff added onto the bottom of it and was the most depressing thing in the world. So I'm not advocating that people do that, but I am advocating that you sort out a few lists and use them well, because they are brilliant. And I, by the way, use lists on trusty old pen and paper. I don't bother with technology. I'll sometimes email stuff to myself if there's something that I want to add to a list or whatever. But it ultimately goes on pen and paper, because there is something very satisfying about physically crossing things off a list. So, but I have 3 main lists that I use in my daily victory planner.
Your daily victory planner?
My daily victory planner. That's the name I literally just gave to it when I was writing the notes for this podcast. Which, by the way, I'm going to create. This has been one of the things on my to-do list for ages, is creating my own version of the planner that I use, because I think I could do a slightly better job of it. So that's one of my goals for this year, actually.
Create a thing.
Create a thing and sell it. So everybody, if you're listening and you would like a copy of my victory planner, drop me an email. Because the more people that tell me they're interested, the more likely I am to actually get off my arse and do it. So, anyway, back to my 3 main lists. Number 1 is my action list, which is a basic to-do list. I do it month by month, week by week, day by day. So I'll have like a high level kind of, this is what I want to do. And I've got it, I'm pointing it at it.
I'm sure that's very helpful for our listener. Hi, yeah. God.
But that is kind of a skeleton outline of...
So your month list is kind of strategic stuff.
Yeah.
And your week list is things that you really need to do this week, and your day list is things you are actually going to do now.
Exactly. So by the end of June, my goal was to have my new book written and published in my hand. I don't know anymore if it's going to be published in my hand, but it's certainly going to be being printed. So that's kind of an example of that. Week by week it goes into a bit more detail. So my goal for this week, and that'll be... it might be 3
chapters of your book.
Yeah, something like that. And then my daily list. So I have a bunch of stuff on my daily list as well. I have 3 main targets. So, for example, my 3 main targets for today were to write my daily email, to do this podcast, and to catch up with my cartooning course. But then I've got another bunch of stuff as well. So I'll have like smaller things that doesn't matter so much if they don't get done today. Okay. So, and this is just the way I work. Other people will find it easier to work other ways. So, other things that I wanted to do was oh, I haven't got much on today. But then it's a bank holiday. It's probably a bad day to choose. So it might be like emptying my inbox, setting a bit of time aside to do that. But again, it should all be scheduled, and I will come to that later in this podcast. Lists. So that's my first list. And it's all prioritized as well, by the way. It's not just done in a haphazard order, because it's like the most important thing of the day that needs to get done first is at the top of my list. Mm-hmm. So that's quite important. Number 2 is my schedule. So again, month by month, week by week, day by day. I would love to have an entire year planned out all in advance, like around our holidays and the fun stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing that goes in, and then everything else works around it. And that is what I am working up to doing. But again, it's kind of like, okay, so all of my time is blocked out in half-hour stretches, and that's my schedule for the day. So I'll have like a weekly schedule where there are appointments and things, and I'll know like a week or so in advance, preferably longer in advance. But then day by day, I've got my kind of schedule that I'm working through.
Okay.
And 3rd is my people to talk to list. So everybody I need to reply to by email or call or get back to in some way, which is also prioritised. So that's my 3 lists. And then Dan Kennedy also has what he calls a conference planner. I don't really know why he calls it a conference planner, but it's a page for each person that he talks to or interacts with often. And he notes down stuff he wants to talk to them about in between times. So if he's like, oh, I'm going to be talking to this person, once a week or whatever, he'll just make a note of all the stuff that he wants to talk to them about, which is actually a really good idea. So I'm going to be doing the same thing, and it's like a page for each person, and then you're not thinking, oh, where's that thing that I was going to talk to so-and-so about?
Yeah, I had something else to think about. What was I going to talk to you about? I had a great idea.
Yeah, so you can kind of save it all up for when you're having that conversation. So I think that's a really good idea, and I'm going to implement that myself. So I am really, really in love with lists, partly because they are pleasing things, but also because it means that I don't have to clutter up all my brain space remembering details about stuff, because I've actually haven't got a great memory for details and things. So if I have a list of stuff, I don't have to remember to do them because it's all written down, which leaves my mind free to concentrate on the stuff that makes me money. So it's like writing copy for me and my clients, solving problems for me and my clients, all of that kind of stuff. So you mock me for my list, Joe.
Well,
but lists are good things.
Lists are good. It's fine.
Lists are good. Do you have a list?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it a never-ending list? Is it like a rolling do list? A rolling don't list?
What I have are mostly sort of project lists. I have lists of current projects and actions on each of them.
Cool.
Things that need to happen, even if it's a conversation with somebody to agree something, or it's, design a means of time travel.
Yes,
I list all of the things that need doing.
Yeah. Cool. Well, when I've got my new office, I'm going to have a great big whiteboard, which is going to be like my, ongoing...
Big whiteboard. I can barely construct a thought without standing next to a whiteboard.
Can you not?
Yeah, it's terrible.
No, I think Tim has an amazing whiteboard in his. It's like a wall with whiteboard paint on it, and so he just like scrawls on the wall. I think he has the same thing as you. You can't construct a thought without the whiteboard, which is quite a cool thing. I think I need a whiteboard for that purpose. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so number 2, and this is a massive thing for me, is kill interruptions. Stop allowing yourself to be interrupted by other people. Mm-hmm. Because you won't get anything done. So like years ago, I stopped answering the phone when it rang. It's just a stupid thing. I know there are going to be people out there going, I have to answer the phone, it's my job. But actually, I reckon that at least 70% of the people who are yelling that at their listening device right now are talking nonsense, because I've spoken to people who are copywriters and they're like, oh, I have to answer the phone when it rings. No, you don't. That is doing 2 things. A, it means that you are constantly getting interrupted from what you're trying to do, so you're losing focus. And B, it's sending out the message that you are available 24/7 to deal with other people's nonsense. And that is just don't do it. If you answer the phone when it rings and you're not a customer service like call handler, then you deserve everything you get, frankly. Yeah. And even then, it's like if anybody who actually does have to answer the phone probably isn't the type of person who will be listening to this podcast, because either they're going to be in a job, like working for somebody else where their job is having to answer the phone when it rings, or they're going to be like a doctor on call or something, or a vet on call. And by the way, that's a really good reason to answer the phone.
If you're on call. If it's your job.
If you're on call. And, it might be that actually you run a business where you are on call, and that's fine. But when you're not on call, turn your damn phone off.
Yeah. And so it means that the time that you schedule for the things that you need to get done, you spend your time doing the thing that needs to get done instead of all of the other shit that drops into your head.
Exactly. Nothing, 99.9% of the time, nothing is going to be on fire. You can pick up the voicemail later in your allocated time for listening to voicemails and either ignore it, which is often a good thing to do, or deal with it. It's the same with emails. Don't leave your email account open so that it bingles at you. Open your emails twice a day and deal with it then. It's like, the post gets delivered once a day and you deal with it then. Don't allow bingly messages to interrupt what you're doing, because it's compulsive as well. It's like, as soon as you see a message flash up on your phone, it's almost impossible to resist because you want to see what it is. So put your phone in a different room.
Yeah, all of your notifications, all of the means of communication, just turn them off.
I don't have anything pop up on my laptop at all, notification-wise, because if I did, I would just never get anything done. So that's my second massive tip. You will always be on the back foot if you are constantly available, and it's your own stupid fault. So, number 3, avoid meetings if at all possible. I'm pointing at Joe right now. He knows my hatred for meetings. 99% of meetings, and I will state this with full confidence, are a complete waste of time that accomplish nothing. Again, I'm looking hard at you.
I don't disagree. A meeting where there are where you don't change what you were planning to do, where priorities don't move, and when actions don't come out of it, are completely pointless.
Yeah. Here is my one massive tip here for making all meetings more useful. Do not ever ask if anybody's got any other business. Ever. Because somebody will bring up some bullshit nonsense and moan about it for half an hour, and suddenly that's half an hour of your life that you'll never get back. Your meeting schedules should be itemized really clearly, and they should all be focused on, whatever outcome that you want to come out of the meeting. You shouldn't just have a meeting for the sake of it. You should want an actual outcome with actions for each meeting. And at the end of it should never, ever, ever be any other business. It should be, here are the actions, and then you give everybody things to do and then tell them to piss off. So meetings, my biggest tip, actually, my second biggest tip, is to subscribe to a chap called Andy Bounds. That's Bounds. And he is like a productivity expert, and his tips are amazing. I made Joe subscribe to him a year or so ago, and he's like full of meeting tips. And you probably don't even read them because you tell me about your meetings. No nonsense. So yeah, most meetings are an excuse for people to kind of talk self-importantly instead of actually doing stuff. So meetings. My other top tip is conduct all of your meetings standing up. Don't serve refreshments. Don't ever have lunch meetings because people will never leave.
Yes. Don't schedule meetings for 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah. That's really antisocial. So, okay. So next tip. I need to rattle through them because we've rattled on. Always be on time and expect no less from others. Apart from being polite and respectful, it means that you can, if somebody's 10 minutes late, you can be like, well, you get 10 minutes less of me. Tough shit. But if you're late to stuff, then you don't really have that.
You don't have the moral high ground.
You don't have the moral high ground, so always be on time. Link everything that you do to your mission. This is a massive thing, actually, and this is something that I started doing over the last 2 or 3 years, because that means that you have really, really good reasons to do everything that you do. So if you're doing something that doesn't directly move you towards your goal, then
stop doing it.
Stop doing it, yeah. And of course, you're not always going to be able to, because I kind of ask myself the question, is what I'm doing right now moving me towards where I want to be? And you're not always going to be able to say yes, because sometimes you're like faffing around and sometimes you're reading a book and sometimes you're, having fun, and that's fine. But I reckon that at least 50% of your time you should be able to say yes to that question, because otherwise it's a waste. So always ask yourself that. And the reason that you want to link everything to your goals is because you want to have a really good reason for doing anything. So have you heard of Jim Rohn?
No.
Okay, so Jim Rohn, a bunch of people listening will probably have heard of Jim Rohn. He's like a famous success philosopher guru type person.
Okay.
Like a Earl Nightingale, Andrew Carnegie, who was the Napoleon Hill type person. So like a success type.
Right.
Guru from way back when. And he always used to say that the only reason there aren't more millionaires is that most people don't have enough good reasons to become a millionaire. Because if you think about it, if you look at all the strange and stupid and crazy and even really boring ideas people have taken and turned into a business that's made them millions of pounds, and all of the rags to riches stories that you see people kind of dragging themselves up from, awful situations and awful kind of social, whatevers. And, they're not anything special. They're not more special than you and me. They just gave themselves better reasons to do whatever it was that they did. To achieve things, yeah. So most people kind of drift through life just, I don't know, cracking on with random shit. And it doesn't get them any closer to where they want to be. So they don't get any closer to where they want to be.
Gets them closer to 5 o'clock in the evening when they can go home.
Yeah. So yeah, link everything that you do to your mission. And have a mission. Set your clear goals. Have an idea of what, not necessarily in 20 years' time, because I don't know what I want to do in 20 years' time, but I do know that my next big goal is to build a new fucking kitchen. And to do that, I need to take a massive chunk of money out of my business over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my goal. Okay, so next, kind of related to a bunch of the stuff that we've already said, but block your time out. So, you're always making appointments with other people. Make appointments with yourself. This is a real big one because the number of times that I hear people tell me they don't have time to write a book or send a daily email is just many bullshit, frankly. So make an appointment. If you've got a thing that you want to do, say write a book, make an appointment in your calendar every day for an hour.
Where you write your book.
Where you write your book. If you do that every day, everyone can block an hour out to do that a day. That's 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours a month. What could you do with an extra 20 hours a month?
Yeah, it's half a working week.
It's half a week. It's a part-time bloody job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and if you don't know how, if you genuinely think that you can't find an hour a day to spend on something that's really important.
Stop going to the meetings that you don't need to go to.
Yeah, well, I was going to say book a Borrow My Brain session with me because that's what Sarah did in my inner circle. She booked a Borrow My Brain session and was like, I can't, I haven't got time to do this, that and the other. And I was like, well, let's look at what you're doing, what your goals are, what are you doing right now? And I basically took what she told me and was like, well, you're focusing on the wrong stuff here. Let's put that aside for now and let's take this time and focus it on this. And suddenly she had, an extra couple of hours available a day and, shortly thereafter signed on her biggest client that she ever yet has.
Nice.
At her highest fee. So, that's an amazing thing to do is just stop making excuses and block out that time. And if it's writing a book, by the way, I've also got a cure for that. I have a coaching thing. So, you just ask my author in training, Misty, who has almost finished her book under my dominatrix style coaching, because she...
Does that word mean what you think it means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's painful, but in a good way.
Right.
It is. It's true. Oh, I might call it Vicky's dominatrix book coaching.
No. I think you might attract strange customers.
All my customers are strange. Hi, guys!
Clients.
Clients, yes.
Collaborators, whatever they are.
So, yeah. But yeah, Misty bought my book course and then did nothing with it and then was like, oh my God, I need to write my book. Do you do book coaching? And I was like, yes, I do. And now she's almost finished her book.
Good.
Because I kicked her ass.
Hi, Misty.
Hi, Misty. Stop reacting to stuff, or at least minimize it. So, if you look around you at other people, and if you look totally honestly at yourself, you will see that most people are just reacting to things all the time. Very little of what they do is purposeful. I'm looking at you again.
Thanks.
Oh,
it's nice to know what you think of me.
Oh, no, I think you're amazing. I just think that you're derailed constantly by other people. So, yeah, most people's time in a day is left open, so it basically gets filled with bullshit, and that's why I do the time blocking thing. So, your time is purposeful and all the rest of it. So, but I do leave 30 minutes a day unscheduled so that I can deal with stuff that does crop up that actually needs dealing with. That's always a good idea because then you're not scrabbling around in a panic trying to fix it. You've got that kind of time blocked out that's got nothing in it, but it's like, this is my dealing with crap.
This is my bullshit half hour.
Yeah, and if there isn't any bullshit to deal with, hurrah, you can either, have a gin or go for a walk or write your book.
Yeah, or think. Just spend a bit of quiet time thinking.
Exactly. So, yeah, so if you can't tell people where your time is going, you're really just always going to be unproductive and stressed, I reckon. It's like if you can't tell people if you don't know where your money is going, you're never going to
have any.
You're never going to have any, no. So it's kind of the same with time. I always use wasted time profitably, so I never go anywhere without my Kindle or a book, without my notebook and pen. I often take my sketchbook with me. If I'm waiting in an airport security line, I'll be reading my Kindle
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't just stand and stare into space and complain like most people do. They do. Even if I'm like in the post office, in a queue in the post office, I'll take my Kindle with me and I'll just stand there in the queue and read it. And I get funny looks off other people, but frankly, who cares?
Standing in the post office.
I don't do it very often because, that's something that other people can do for me. So yeah, you use your wasted time profitably. So, if you have to drive a long way, instead of kind of mindlessly, doing mindless things, listen to an audiobook or a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this podcast. Or do something, some people will catch up on their phone calls while they're driving. I think actually that's a bad idea because I get really distracted.
Yeah, that's a bit rude. I don't like that.
No.
I know a couple of people who are like, I've got a long drive ahead of me. What shall I do? I'll phone Joe.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's really annoying because the signal's often crap. And, I had somebody say to me the other day, oh yeah, can we schedule a phone call to, talk about this, that and the other? And I was like, yes, certainly. It's like, well, I'll be driving home for it. I was like, no, I'm not, you're not going to be concentrating on me.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be concentrating fully on the road. And
you're not going to write anything
annoying.
down. You're not going to take notes.
No, it's going to be really annoying. So just no. So yeah, just use your wasted time profitably. Think of something to do with it. Avoid the herd as well. So don't go shopping or to the post office at lunchtime or after work time because there are going to be 3 million other people there and it'll take 3 times as long. Don't set meetings that you have to travel to at all if you can help it. But don't set meetings that you have to be there at 9 a.m. because you're going to be travelling at rush hour.
Yeah.
Don't check out of hotels between 4 and 6 p.m. because it'll take you ages. Don't check in between 8 and 9 a.m. because it'll take ages. So, just little tips like that to avoid. And I read I can't remember where I read it now, but apparently most people go to the right. So they'll get on the right escalator, they'll get on. So if I've started always getting on the left-hand escalator now, or getting in the left-hand lift or whatever, and just to see if it works. And I don't really have any benchmarking, data, but it kind of feels like it's a bit quicker. It feels like there are fewer people there.
Okay.
So choose the shorter queue. Try not to follow the herd. We're herd animals, really. It's kind of difficult to go against that.
But that shorter queue might be short because everybody else in the queues at the supermarket know that the numpty on the checkout is terrible.
Well, that's true. It's a gamble.
I've been in many short queues that have moved slower than the fast ones.
Yeah.
Than the big ones.
If there are 2 of you together, you should both get in a queue.
Yeah.
And then you can join the one that moves quickly. And then this is a good idea. So Dan Kennedy uses what he calls a Tickler File System, which I think is a great name.
Tickler File System.
Tickler File. And he has 90 file folders. So, those kind of just flappy open things.
Flappy open things.
And he has them in red, white and blue. And each colour represents this month, next month and the month after. And then he numbers them all 1 to 30. So it's basically a day, a day for each file. And he uses that to remind him to do something. So if he needs to follow up with someone or he needs to call someone or he needs to do something a specific amount of time later. So if it's like, I need to follow up with so-and-so in like 10 days, then he'll write himself a note or take the letter that has arrived or whatever and stick it in the file folder for that day. And then it automatically pops up. So he takes the first one, every day he takes the first one out, has a look in it, deals with what's in it, and then puts it to the back.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought for a horrible minute there you were saying that like the red one is today, the blue one is tomorrow, and the yellow one is the day after.
No.
Because that would be mental. You'd have to move the contents of 90 folders up one every time.
No. It's just to tell what's what and where's where. But I mean, loads of people will use an electronic version of that. But the point is, I think he uses the physical version because he deals in direct mail and physical stuff, so it makes more sense because otherwise he'd always be scanning stuff in. But I quite like that idea, and when I've got my office with my actual filing cabinets and stuff, I'm going to implement something like that because I am constantly surprised at things that I need to do. It's like, I need to do that thing now, and it'd be nice to have a system that would
You could probably set up something like that on Evernote, I would have thought, given that most of your stuff is electronic.
Yeah, I probably could actually. I will look into that.
You could just have a tag for every day of the year or something.
Yes.
And just pile things in.
That's your job, Joe. You can find out how to do that on Evernote for me.
Okay.
If anybody out there knows how to do that on Evernote, give me a shout. I would love to know. So, and finally, and I guess this is number 11, but if there is like a shiny technology gadget that will make you more productive, then by all means go ahead and use it, but kind of use it consciously. So don't just jump on it because it's new or because everyone else is using it or because it's there. Have a think about, actually, will this really help me and is it profitable, or is it just something I'm going to spend 50 quid on and then, not do anything with? So that is my final piece of advice. Have you got any time management advice, Joe?
Yeah, I quite like that you don't answer the phone. I'm pretty short with people when I do answer the phone. I get a lot of recruitment guys calling me, and I tend to do we're not recruiting right now, give me a call in 3 months. Cheers.
But you shouldn't be answering those calls at all. They should be going through your answering service.
Well, yeah, I don't think we have the answering service anymore.
Oh, you need to get them back. Because you shouldn't be answering the phone at all.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
It should be screened. Actually, that's a really good point. I didn't say that.
Screen calls.
Well, you should screen your calls, but if you can, get an answering service. And my mate James uses one, and I thought it was probably a really expensive thing to do, but it costs like £1.50 a call that they take or something. It's not expensive.
Well, that's a lot if you get 100 calls a day.
Yeah, okay. But I don't know. I don't know how much it was. I can't remember. But when he told me, I was like, oh, that's not much at all. And so, they kind of fob off the people that you don't want to talk to. And they will take messages and just send them all to you all at once. And they know that if you're expecting a call, you can tell them, I'm expecting a call from so-and-so, put them through to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we used to have an answering service and an app on a phone. You could just say, you could hook it up to your calendar. So it'd be like, oh, sorry, he's in a meeting at the moment. Or, you'd be on holiday, or you could say, well, I'm traveling, or I'm out of the country on this app. And they would know where you were and what you were doing and what your availability was. It was good.
It was Moneypenny, wasn't it? Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yep.
So yeah, get yourself a phone answering service. That'd be a really cool thing to do. Anyway, we are done. That's the 10 time management techniques. Use some of them. You might probably not want to use all of them, but you should absolutely be minimizing your interruptions and using lists. Yes.
I think minimizing interruptions. Stop answering your phone, turn off your email, train everybody who's going to contact you that you will talk to them at 4:00.
Yeah.
And that not before.
Yeah. There is, I've even trained my family to do this now. Nobody rings me in work time. They know that I generally have lunch between 12:30 and 1:30. And that I finish around kind of 4 or 5 o'clock-ish. But I never get phone calls from anybody now.
It's good.
Inside those times. Because you have to train people. You don't have to be there for people all the time.
Right, 32 minutes.
Yeah.
We're done.
We are. So next week, Joe's not here. Well, he's here, but he's not on the podcast.
I was just startled there. Where am I going?
You are here, but you're not on the podcast next week.
Right.
Because next week I am interviewing Ben Settle, who is the world leader in email marketing.
Blimey.
Yeah, and I'm emailing him because I'm interviewing him even because I bribed him with gin.
Good girl. Well done.
Yeah. So next week I will be talking to Ben Settle, and the week after that Joe will be back with us.
Yay!
Yay! So thanks very much for listening. As I say, if you are really struggling with time, this is one of the things that I can genuinely help you out with. Book a Borrow My Brain session with me. VickyFraser.com/borrow my brain, or drop me an email and I'll answer it. I'll get to it later in the day. But yeah, book a Borrow My Brain session, and if you really are thinking that there is something you want to do and you haven't got time, get on the phone with me and I will find you an hour a day.
Yep.
I will find you an hour a day. I've done that for other people. I will do it for you.
Cool.
So yeah, be good. If you can't be good, don't get caught, and we will see you same time next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.